So, yeah, we're here early today for obvious reasons. But yeah, welcome back, everyone. We're continuing the Lakeburg Legacy series. But we actually need to address this patch, which is probably going to be one of my very first, patch updates for a game, actually, because this patch is actually what's probably going to help my game. I've opened it to check. It does. It does help it a lot. But a lot of things change to a point where I can't ignore or not say anything about it before we continue the series. So I decided to make this like quickly before anything else happens, and then continue on with the series. At the time you get to the next part, it should be like I don't know, part 78, 77 probably. It's one of those two. I'm pretty sure it's 78 though. And yeah, after that episode, I was like, I had to like make something like very, orientated around it before we continue to 79. So this is where we are. The patch update's gonna also introduce the divorce system is gonna be much more streamlined into the dating system as well, which will make things harder to do. But people actually have to stay single this time, for example. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I won't really explain the patch to everyone who's like just coming back. I think I have to make an explanation for it before we continue. And there's also the fact that the next update's also coming soon, which I'll probably make a video about that as well. And we'll see what happens. So I guess I'll name this like 78.5 or something, or put it as its own update video. So yeah, that's it. We'll leave it in the list over there because it's like halfway, like over halfway through my series. So I can't like ignore it in a sense. So people will have an idea like what's happening and catch up to like all the new effects that are happening. So for that being said, this update basically started a lot of things. They did a whole talk over here. Hello, rulers. Oh, we're called rulers, really? Huh. I've been calling myself mayor this entire time. Like honestly. So they've been working hard on this update because you can read right here. Everything's been fine, whatever. But we're gonna talk about the things. I know this update is gonna happen sooner or later, which I will talk about when it happens. But we're gonna focus on the patch itself, so people aren't confused when we get to it. So the shortcut system that exists now. You could actually change your shortcuts so you can put the time speeds at any one of these buttons. That's pretty good for me because I've been tired of clicking that in the bottom row a lot. To be honest, even though you can always pause it with spacebar, you can never really speed it up without any of the buttons. Now that they're actually there, you can. Another problem I've noticed with that is not that it's like inconvenient for me, but more the fact that I could definitely get better with that. Like just playing the game without the time speed. But I like pausing to like absorb information. I'm probably one of those players. I might do a run where I don't pause at all. But I will eventually at least pause at least one or twice if like 8 people die in a row. Like for example, like yeah, I have to pause, right? So yeah, I like fixing the time of problems as they appear instead of like waiting for me to like rush to the problem. But if you think about it logically, it does make sense. We could like pause the game. So yeah, because the random deaths could really like be that one detail that like stops you from training students, and that's what makes me more of a pause person. So the bug fixes, wow, that's interesting for us. The potential stars of the villagers for certain jobs no longer evolves between the moment they appear in the recruitment pop-up and the moment they join the village. Now this right here, this detail is very important because there were times where the traits, the 6 traits on the right, like right before you see their jobs, they don't get factored in until after they join. This is I didn't know it was a bug. I thought it was just like, oh, it's because they haven't joined yet, so you don't know their full power, you know. But this is not only including that; it also includes like job switches. Where I had a character that was exactly like that not too long ago in the video series. Uh, I don't remember their name. I don't think it was Minerva. I was thinking it was someone else. But yeah, there was a point where there was some characters that were joining, and they got better at another job after I added them, and I was like, why are you better at this job now out of nowhere? And that's because it didn't actually add in all the factors in their profiles. Now it does apparently, so that's good. I won't be surprised anymore when that happens. I was like, oh, you could be a builder. I thought you were only able to be a farmer. Like that. Yeah, something like that was happening. So next up, the moral, work results, and traits. Still, tooltips now display per values per month. Okay, so I'm assuming it tells you how much you get. Okay, so it tells you how much you get monthly instead of like yearly instead. Okay, I get it. So basically, when something happens or you lose morale, you'll start seeing them now as well. The work results are pretty good. Trait tooltips, I'll have to like think about that. I guess the traits will be for people who are bored as well. So yeah, the optimized textures made the game smoother while increasing the asset's quality. Hold on, I don't have the music playing. Hold on. Oh yeah, main menu. Yeah. So I think that's good. I'm pretty sure that really means that it won't like lag me as much during the end of the year. I guess that's what I assume is doing it. So yeah. It is no longer possible to meet and greet a dead villager. Now this was the bug we encountered literally in our Undying episode. That was 72, I think. You guys will see that later. If I post this first. I will post this tomorrow most likely, so like everyone can like get an idea of what's gonna happen in upcoming videos. After we understand like, yeah, I had to make this for sure. This patch was done right before I edited, so now that I got the editing out of the way and finally got it, I'll probably post it the next day so we can see like, oh, this is the update, and then we continue what's going on to episode 77, 78. So no worries there. I'm still like editing videos. It's just like a little emergency video because this was the bug we had, and it was also the fact that they didn't die. It was both of them. They didn't technically die. So yeah, it is no longer possible to soft lock when opening new game pop-up while opening the option menu. I've never encountered this, so I don't know what this is. I'm still on the first game myself, so I wouldn't know what this means for me. But for people who understand this, let me know in the comments. I'm not sure what this means. I don't think I've encountered or understood what this does, but apparently I have not seen that because I haven't got to the second game yet. So the character sheet, oh boy, UI. That would be a little more. Give me 1 second. The character sheet UI no longer hides the villagers' personality traits. Okay. I don't think it ever hit the. Did I ever see this? I don't think I did. It's fixed, but I'm just like I'm surprised because I don't think I've ever seen that. Okay. Oh, that's another bug fix. That's cool. The text on the its match or field screen is no longer. Oh yes, thank you. That's great. The character sheet on the unemployed villager. English test is currently our current application box in all languages. Now the text is appropriately displayed in supported languages. Okay, so English is no longer dominant. That's what you're telling me. I can play in French now. Fix the refresh bug on the building construction tooltip. Okay, I've never seen that, but apparently there's a refresh bug on that. The raise bar rules achievement could not only be attained if a homeless child no longer has a family to live with. I don't think I've gotten that achievement. It should have gotten it, but it's when both parents died. I think I got that already. Did I get it? I think I did. I'm not sure. I have to like check it out, but I'm pretty sure something happened. Yeah, I did get it. It was Alice. Alice is the one who got that in my stream. Alice Fletcher. She got picked up by childbirth, so yeah, that happened. The love and hate and perfection is a myth. Achievements can no longer be obtained through the death of one's partner. I don't think I've ever gotten that. So, good to know you have to do it properly now. Fix issues of some animations on the village map. Okay. Remove the wrong icon for the parenthood chances stat. Okay. The notification of recruitment and barter buttons are now correctly explained when loading a save. Okay, so that's good to know. Fix the display issue of the build menu when all buildings have been built. Okay, great. I already did that, so I'll probably see this when I go in. Fix tooltips being placed incorrectly. Okay. Minimize text size and option pop up. Okay, that's cool too. I'm like saying the changes that really affected me, but these are just things I haven't seen yet. Rounded the value of servers. Oh, so now they round up or down. Oh, about time, honestly. I've been seeing like 20.5, and I'm like, is that up or is that good or bad? Now it's just rounding up. Okay. Expert traits will now display special feedback on jobs associated with correspondence. Oh, so if you master your job, it tells you what jobs you could go to. Okay, that's more information basically. That's good. There's no longer a double entry in the journal when celebrating a wedding. Single villager now appears in the single part of the villager's bar. Okay, so I'm confused on this one over here. I never knew it was a double entry, but the journal is not. A lot of people don't really look at the journals for like some of the small details. This is one of those. So it's good to know. An exile village no longer displayed feedback. Okay, I almost had an exile villager. I think you guys know who Dean is. I have like weird beef with him. If you haven't seen it, it's in the series. Or like what happened with him and Frigg. So yeah, that was going on for a while. I could have exiled him, but I was like, I didn't know this was a problem. I kept it because that was Joan's first husband technically, so I just didn't do it. And yeah, that's it. Mentor children no longer affect the work ambience. That's kind of that was a weirdly good thing. I'm actually surprised they don't affect it anymore. On one hand, it was kind of broken because it didn't matter which one you got. It affected the work ambience in general, right? Like if you got mentor, if you got the whip or you got the book, it was good. It's like it doesn't. It gave you production time or it gave you stress. That was literally what it happened, and it's still. It's either you get stress or you don't get stress. That's literally it. Not stress, morale. And either way, you were gonna build more things. So, kind of sad that that's gone. Adultery relationships now give a production bonus instead of a malice. Adultery. So you mean the secret crush line? Okay, Trumpori, basically. But that's not what it's called now. It's basically just called adultery. uh, that's good because the crush making sense, and then the secret crush not giving plus was kind of weird. The secret crush means they don't know, but I thought it meant they were just distracted, so they weren't really in it. But I never understood why it was given a production malice either. They're correct. So fix the threshold chances of having a child to match their true values. Okay, so now we'll see better numbers for that. Okay, I see what's going on there. Fix issue where that may consume and produce resources displayed incorrectly above the buildings in the world map. So I haven't seen that yet here, but that's probably something that someone else noticed. So those are all the bug fixes. I guess we already know the major one over here, which you will see soon if you haven't yet. Uh, that's the one that I had to deal with. The biggest one over here. I had to deal with that. There's some others that I've noticed as well, but this was the one I was really like stopping me from playing for a while because I tried to stream it on Tuesday again to make up Sunday stream. Didn't really work out that way. It happened twice to me, and on two of my favorite characters too, by the way. So yeah, I'll let you know who those characters are soon. All right, so balancing morale. Oh my god. Okay, this is gonna be great. Morale bonuses are increased and malices are reduced in identity traits, building, taxes, and relationships. Now, you're telling me I can see the information of when my morale goes down. Okay, now let me know how it's going down and why. That might not use this, but I'm definitely gonna pay attention to it. Like check it out, see if it's really good for me. Because I do read up when anything's going on in relationship wise. So I wouldn't mind seeing that either. The entertain trait distributed by the Bard's house now distributes 60 morale at once. Oh wow, you just get an instant influx. That's insane. Instead of scaling. Yeah, this only gave you about 40, but now this gives you instant 60. So if you get into so the Bard house is much more broken than, oh my god. You just, nope, you're not depressed anymore. Okay, you know what? They're not wrong. When you watch TV, it's like 30 minutes instead of like 120 days, so that makes sense. That's great. The morale bonus given by traits, distributed by activity and safety service gauges have been reduced by 5. So they're basically buffing morale overall. That's what I'm seeing right now. Increase the bonus given by working conditions upgrade. That's good. The working condition upgrade now also has a third level. Now, some already had a third level. I mean, not a third level. Some already looked like they had a third level, right? There was the morale buildings had it, but I think that was the not the no, that wasn't actually the work conditions. That was actually the what you call it, the production thing, the one that reduces resources. Recycling. That's what it's called. There you go. They might hit them like I know the name. I remember. And that's good, but now we have to see what the third level is. So that's another thing we're gonna have to check out when we get back into it for the next part. Modified spawning conditions are making repeating events less likely. More events. So no, we don't have events right now. I just realized I just didn't like titleize it, but it is events now. The spawning makes repeating events less likely. So you can only probably get events once or twice now. I've never gotten a repeat event though. I don't think so, or I just don't remember. More events can now include teens. That's kind of important because I feel like the only one I remember is the one with Nathan. That's the biggest one I remember the most. And then there was one where he kissed Eric Lenoy, uh, the Jameson kid, and I was like, what? But those are the only two kid events I remember majorly. And after that, it was like all the way to like episode 69. It's just like that was the first event with a kid, but it was a homeless event. So we kind of need to see more teen events, you know? Like, I've been, like, wondering about that, actually. Events now have a bigger impact on the game. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, I say that, and now it's going to be more important. So that's another thing that changes. We got working conditions and morale bonuses. We now have events having much more hits. Some events, I'm not going to read all of them, but you can see it here. All these events have been simplified. And now use one character skill test instead of two to improve play. Oh, so when he sees cats, it just takes cats. It doesn't take like three other stats. So, okay, yeah, I remember the stray cats one. That was the last one I had. I don't think I've seen the others, some of them, but I definitely remember the cats one. That was kind of weird. All right. Oh no, weird tastes I remember too. That was one they were trying to like do the ice cream french fry thing. I know that's what it was. I know what the reference was. For couples to break up voluntarily during an event. Okay, so this is actually in the game properly. Okay, I was kind of curious about that. There were some couples that just broke up, and I'm like, why did you guys break up at level 3, 4, like relationship for what? The events and heartbroken traits will now be distributed to one or both partners depending on the context. So there's context behind it now. Divorce probably means like the relationship went bad. Heartbroken probably means they just broke up. All right, that's probably what it probably means. In my brain, that's how I process that. That gotta be what it means. So now we're down to economy. Let's see where they're going. We'll do genetics as well since we're here. It's only one thing apparently. Modified the base production value to increase production in early game for all production buildings. Okay, so basically your early game won't be like you won't die early game. Okay. Reduce the slot prices in all buildings. Oh, what? Oh, they made it easier for some people. Because I can't build some of the fifth slots for a lot of things. I barely just got to the fourth service building. So the fact that this is getting lowered now, insane, right? But yeah, they were expensive. I do agree. They were really expensive. Until I got the builders, like going, I was behind on a lot of buildings. Like the servitude buildings, I'm calling them that because whatever. The service buildings, they were just. I was stuck at three for the majority of the game, and then the Assassin Guild was eating them down. So I was like two bars out of the five up there in the defect bars, basically. I forgot the illicit bars, and I was kind of tilted because like the only way I could fix it was to just fast forward time. I literally could not do anything for a good stunt of that section until I got enough gold or enough stone to do something. So to lower the price is definitely forgiven. This is for a balance run, by the way. I'm talking for balance. I think the other modes might be easier, but the balance run itself, not even on the like production run, like, the balance run itself, I'm having this problem. So imagine the production run where the buildings are more expensive, probably. That would be even way more interesting for them because like social, I don't think I have to worry about the buildings if I remember correctly. I saw the settings for that. I don't think they have to worry about that. But production probably does. So the lower the price will probably be a great buff for them as well. Um, reduce the bonus given by the efficiency upgrade. So I'm assuming they buff the base, but not the upgrades. Okay, so you can't make more from upgrading. It won't be that expensive either, I hope. So yeah. So early game got better. That's basically what they're saying. The early and mid game probably got better, but the late game is probably worse if someone's just not there. All right. Added base production of gold for all classes every 90 days. So everyone gets taxed. They get a weird. They got their own tax now. Okay, so nobles make precious and gold. Artisans give straight up gold. Peasants give heart and gold. A heart of gold. Okay. The heart's good. It's really good because hearts are a big part of the early game. Artisans giving gold is pretty good as well because artisans should be like making the crafts. Nobles giving precious. Nobles don't play a part until you get to like late game. I think they're more important for getting precious runs. They're harder to keep because most of them are going to be stuck in illicit buildings, if anything, until you get the castle ready, the castle grounds ready. So even then, I still think nobles are fine. I just need to like respect precious more. I feel like I don't know what it does yet. Like I have a bunch of it, but I don't really know other than the fact that it might be in the gallery. So I've just been collecting it. I don't know what it really does for me. So we'll see what happens when we get to the end of the run, unless something else happens. Because I haven't seen any use for it yet. So that's where I am right now. Decrease gold obtained to taxes. That's pretty good, actually, because I don't even want to normally tax in the first place. So to just get it naturally anyway, it's like, that's pretty good. You get taxed no matter what, apparently. Or you're paying tithes to the church. Either or. I tend not to keep it high because of how morale was working. I didn't know it was not really affected that much, so now I do. The bard's house is what you want. And genetics, villagers now have more chances in here. Oh my god, that's still not working, really? I thought it was. I thought they literally had an update of it before, where I thought it actually was working. I'm surprised, actually. But I thought it was only for the homosexual couples, basically, like male male, and then they just couldn't get it. I thought it was only them. I think it's and now it probably affects everything now, so that's good, I guess. Couples, oh boy, what happens now? Married couples with a high affinity are now less likely of triggering a positive event in the house. Okay, so you're telling me that high affinities will now gain less? Okay, so they just won't be immune to like negatives. Okay, it's slightly less. It's not that big a deal. Like if they're already max, there's no need for more events, right? So it's okay. But the low affinity one now have more chances of triggering a positive event itself. Okay, so it's like I'm guessing it's considering the event system, or is it like Just the lines you see in the house when you go check on them. It might be just those. The divorce and widow traits are now okay. They're now temporary. Now this is important because they stay divorced for like 8 years. But this is also weird because for people who are already in a game, what happens to the traits if there's already been a year? I don't know. So we'll see if they all decrease when we get back into it. We'll like do like a whole thing. This is post after this patch, so we'll see. They now also decrease affinity level with potential seers and new partners for 1 year. Oh, this is the okay. So this is what people were telling me. Like they were saying that, oh my god, you gotta wait a year for them to come back, and I'm like, you have to think about it normally. A normal person wouldn't bounce back. So now I have to actually pay attention. This is great for me because I love paying attention to my villagers. So now it's gonna make me like say, oh, you just got divorced. I cannot get you married. That's basically it. Like I'll know. Like, because I won't be able to like match them with people either. Like I'm not. Oh no, you got divorces for 1 year. I won't. I'll see you next year. It's gonna be like a whole Lakeburg mixer basically when their year's up. Basically. So I already do it naturally. So to see it's gonna be like I gotta wait a year for that. It's gonna be insane actually. The last breakup relationship we had was with, I guess, Edries and Childbirth right now. Like, that's a very interesting one too because I didn't expect that because both their things died around the same time. So no more like quick fixes. You gotta actually buy those houses, guys. So I guess this will temper people in newer runs to not just force everyone together. You have to actually play around with your people, basically. Like actually know what they did, they went through. Like how long are you gonna be to like do something, or like you can't just smash the like button and be like, you can't just smash the love button anymore. Basically, you have to be very vigilant on that. So this will change a lot of the early game. Actually, I'd have to do a new run to like see it, but like this will definitely change the early game a lot. Actually, like oh my god, production goes up. People give gold now and hearts. Makes me want to try another balance run just to see how far I'll get. But I want to really try and do a social run as well. So we'll see. But wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of things to change. Alright, alright. That's great. Bartering. Decrease the amount of resources exchanged for gold. Oh, okay. So I say that's weird. It's not bad. I guess it's a nerf to gold because you're gonna get it from people anyway. That's not a bad thing, especially since you get artisans pretty early compared to nobles. But that makes sense. You shouldn't have a gold influx, basically. Uh Basically the early game before the castle you can't tax anyone, right? When you get the castle, you get to get money for like monthly, right? Now that's not the case. You just get it anyway. So some merit to it. People will help in the village all around until the castle. And then they nerf the early game. So they nerf the early game gold source and move it to the people themselves. So you're getting rewarded for having people and balancing it out. But I think I wouldn't even do that. I'm still thinking I don't want to do like super any more than 2 blocks of people and then let their children intermingle. Anyone else who joins is probably gonna be from an event or their kids bringing it. Before like I get too many houses again. I really want to like focus catering like 8 lines in total. Like 2 blocks of families and every other block is gonna be like their children basically. And then since early game is pretty dominant, like not wasting stone, which I have to see later, that will be a very interesting thing. So when I do another run, it's gonna be interesting, like very insane. Like who's gonna be my new family head and such, etc., etc. So we're still in the hard drive run, so it's still good. We'll have to see this in like when we replay, basically, which we will do. We already said we're going to. No, we'll probably do 75 years next, but yeah. Adjusted the evolution of the amount of resources axed and the amount of gold offered. Hmm. So there's a point where when you finally can make something, you could get gold for it. Okay, I'm guessing that's what it means. Because there were some cases where I had like 87 beer for gold or for chairs, and I just didn't have over 50, and I couldn't get to it. So it might be tied to that. I'm not sure, but there were times when I couldn't do that. Like early game, I remember that too. Upgraded the Bardier Temple according to the new balance table. Okay, so that's good. Oh, we're almost done too, actually. Encounters. The encounters algorithm has been reworked. Married villagers who share a high affinity level with their partner will now have a lot less chances of developing an adult relationship with another village. They will now rather develop. Okay, so high affinity can't was basically lowering adultery. Okay, that's kind of a good thing because you remember the very first family we had, Jameson out here with Eloise, and Agatha had no idea that her super best friend is in lust with the partner. I think she had an idea. It was weird. Like, let's be honest. It was just a running gag. Gary's had the same thing a little bit, but then that person died, so we just didn't see it that long. But still, you know. For other adult villagers, chances of friendship and relationships are decreased 8. Oh, it's nerfed. Oh, interesting. So, they nerf friendship. Hilarious, actually. Increased lust relationships have increased to 20, and romance relationships have increased to 15. Now, children and babies will no longer develop relationships with random strangers. So, this is actually funny because there was this one person, this one kid that was just literal, like, literal close friends with Nathan out of nowhere. And I was like, how? Like, where did you even, like, meet? You know, like, you know what I mean? But it was like a funny storyline for me because it was like, you know, you're getting taught by Master Thief, who's also like, you know, the village enemy right now. But yeah, it was still funny to see some of them. But I'm actually surprised that this was a thing. I wonder if they still could let children meet each other, like in the same workplace at least, because that is still a thing, right? Like, unless we have to do it ourselves, because yeah, they should at least meet people at work. You know, like if you're like literally studying in the same building, you should meet them. You know, like just like the adults can meet each other. So yeah. And the last but not least, some service traits such as suicidal and atheist have been renamed. Now, I'm happy about this because there was this one. There's this one part, like, oh, while I was editing, that was just like, yo, atheist is stupid. Like, what do you mean we have less intelligence? I was like, I feel hurt. I'm not an atheist. That's the worst part. I'm like in the middle. I'm like a scientist person, basically. So I'm just like, I'm not against the belief of a higher power, but also, you didn't have to come after everyone who's atheist. And the suicidal one is kind of just depression to me. So to see it being renamed, I have to see the new name for it. We'll actually look at it when we get there. There's other patches as well. You can come look at them on the Steam Play, or when you get the game, you'll see a link to it every time. We discussed it. We want to like catch it up because this is very important for part 79, I guess. I'm gonna say 79. We'll see when I get to the finish of editing to post it. And that should be present like about the Wednesday after this video. So I guess thank you for reading this with us. This was posted on the 10th. We're a little late to it, but you know, we were too busy excited about Dark Dungeon. So yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching, everyone. I'm gonna continue playing today as well. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.